Hey guys, welcome to our end of year recap video.
For those of you who are new here, we're Angel and Jason.
We're based in the Bay Area and we mostly share food and travel, especially luxury travel using credit card points.
So, we wanted to do an end of the year episode to look back on another great year of travel hacking and trips.
And give you a chance to know us a little bit better.
In this video, we're breaking down what year 3 of travel hacking actually looked like, our favorite trips, best redemptions, and a few life updates along the way.
All right, let's get started.
All right, so we're gonna start with a fun game. I have all of our credit card numbers as usual or as expected. So we're gonna quiz Jason and see how close he gets to the real answer.
I'll try my best.
All right,
Kind of
starting
nervous.
off, starting off with the first question. How many points do you think we earned from sign up bonuses this year? So I think it would have been extremely tedious to figure out the total number of points we earned this year from both sign up bonuses and, everyday spend. So we're just going to do sign up bonuses because that's really the bulk of our points, right? So yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to try to do this mathematically. On average, a sign-up bonus gives you maybe about 100k points. Let's say every quarter we apply for 2 cards. So 8 cards. Okay, I'm going to guess 800k.
Is that your final answer?
800k to maybe 1 million.
That's kind of a big range.
No, it's not because like sometimes they have extra bonuses. It's like 120 or 150, isn't it? So
Okay. So
okay, all right. How about this?
commit to one number.
Okay, I'm gonna say 875,000 points.
Wow, that's very specific. It was actually 1.1 million points.
Oh, hey, I was actually pretty close.
Not too bad. I think that was a good mathematical way of doing it. So, kind of going backwards then to how many credit cards do you think we opened this year then?
How many credit cards we opened? Easy, easy. I was missing about 200k in a bit, so I'm gonna say we opened, but sometimes they're lower as well. They're like 80k. Like I think, all right, I'm gonna go with 11.
Wow. Good
Did
job.
I?
Ding, ding, ding.
Got it right? Whoa.
Big-
Am I the best P2 or what? I don't even know when you take my SSN, but I know.
Good logic. So that's correct. We earned 1.1 million points from sign up bonuses and a few referral bonuses along the way. And then that was from a total of 11 new cards. Just want to give a caveat that we are playing a 4-player game. My parents are also, opening these cards and helping with this. And so that's why these numbers are somewhat higher. Granted, compared to our first year, this is actually much lower. Do you remember how much we earned the first year?
Was it like 2 million almost?
4 million.
Whoa. How did we earn so much? Was that because a lot of it was first time benefit or like lifetime?
Yeah, I mean, I went really hard. I'll have to see how many cards we opened, but it is true that they were the highest sign-up bonuses you could get because of the first time. I earned a lot of referral bonuses the first year. I was very excited and enthusiastic, and I encouraged a lot of friends to apply for credit cards and got a lot of referral bonuses that way. That was also it wasn't the golden age, it was maybe towards the end of the heyday of the Chase Ink cards. And so we just kept referring each other back and forth and opening a bunch of Chase Ink cards, if you remember. And there was a period where they were giving like 40,000 points per referral. So there were just a lot more opportunities then. And there's also just in general a lot more opportunities when you start playing the game. You're not going to, get denied cards as easily, and you just have a lot more options of cards to open. On the topic of cards opened, can you guess how many we closed this year?
Well, I caught and closed one last week. Oh yeah, no, I did close. Yeah, I downgraded one, closed one. I remember we also closed one of the Amex ones, right? Amex Platinum. 4.
Take it and double it and give it to the next
Really?
person.
8?
8 cards. I mean, this is again, I think I have to remind you too, this is between us and my parents. That's really what happens also when you get later on in the game. I think the first year, obviously, there was nothing to close, but I think that was something that I had to learn as we, got further into the game. And that's really what churning is all about. But I think it would be interesting for people to see, and since I have this data, how many total points we have currently and what that breakdown looks like. Can you guess how many points we have in total? So I have data on the total number of points overall, as well as the breakdown of the total number of flexible points, as well as the total number of fixed points. And then also in the flexible points, and the fixed points, I have it between different banks or different points and miles programs. So which one do you want to do first?
So I know you've listed a lot of categories of points.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what the difference is between, let's say, a flexible and not flexible. I guess flexible is like the Amex and Chase ones, right?
Correct.
Not flexible is like Alaska.
Correct. Ding
What's
ding
up?
ding ding ding.
So I'm just gonna throw a number out there. I think not flexible points is 500k. Flexible points is 3.37 mil.
Oh, interesting. Total is 3.77 points.
What?
Flexible and fixed, 3.77 million. And the breakdown between fixed and flexible is we have 2.64 million flexible points, and then we have 1.13 million fixed points. So we actually have quite a lot of fixed points. I actually made a chart plotting the change over time of our flexible points. So to recap, we're at 2.64 million flexible points as of yesterday. How do you think that's changed from this time last year? December of last year.
I'm gonna guess.
Okay, first up or down? Up or down?
Oh, up.
Up. Okay. And
Oh, actually, would it be up? Or maybe it's been about the same because we've been churning. Actually, okay. So my mind's. Do you want to hear my thought process? Or no?
yeah, sure. We're gonna cut out a lot of this.
I feel like this is almost like a case study, like those interview case studies.
Yeah, I think you're putting a lot of thought into this. I didn't expect this.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'll just guess we have less points before, and I'll guess we had maybe 1 mil less before.
So actually, we're at about the same as last year. We're about actually almost exactly 100,000 less than last year in terms of flexible points. But the reason why I think is because we've pivoted a lot this year towards fixed points. So we definitely didn't have as much fixed points last year. Now we have 1.1 million fixed points, which is actually quite a lot. I think in the last year, we've earned a lot of American Airlines miles. We earned a lot of Alaska miles, Hawaiian, United. Like I've pivoted a lot towards those kind of co-branded cards. And so our flexible points have stayed the same, but really more of the growth has been the fixed points. And then within the flexible points, so like Chase, Amex, Bill, Capital One, guess which ones do you think increased or decreased?
Built decrease? Because I know that they had all those bonuses and like the Air France bonus. Anyway, I don't know. I think built we've decreased. Sorry, what was the other one?
Capital One, Amex, Chase.
Oh, I know Amex we've got a lot because you've mentioned to me before that we don't need more Amex points.
Okay. Good.
Chase, I know you've been wanting more Chase points because we're running lower. So Chase is lower. Amex is probably flat. And then Capital One, I'm going to guess, has been also going down.
Wow, good memory though, on like good context clues. So for sure, the one that has decreased the most is Chase. So we went from 1.15 million Chase points to now down to 686,000. So So that was the biggest decrease. But then I guess it's been buffered by an increase in Amex, so 1.53 million to 1.83 million. So about, yeah, like 300,000 more. And then Capital One's about the same. Like I think last year this time we had just redeemed a whole bunch of Capital One points to Cathay Pacific. So it was like at 668 points, and now it's at like 2,000. So it's about the same. And then bill has increased actually. So last year at this time was 52,000, and now it's 122,000. I'm actually impressed. I guess we just haven't redeemed a lot of bill points recently. And so that's why it has more or less stayed the same, mainly buffered by the increase in Amex and then the decrease in Chase. Yeah.
Does that mean we're
So
poor?
yeah,
Are we poor?
I guess we're starting to go towards the Chase poor range. So that's why we need to earn more Chase points and use our Chase cards more instead of the Amex cards or the bill even really.
Okay, I'll buy more stuff.
The last question I have on to quiz you on in this category is, what do you think we paid in annual fees this year? I'm basing this on what's listed in our personal finance software, which I'll talk about a little bit later. It's a program that compiles all of our bank accounts and investments and credit cards, and I'm basing it on what that says for just our cards.
This is a good question because I have no idea. I don't even know how many cards we have. But okay, let me think about it. I'm just gonna say we both have 2 to 3 of the luxury cards, and they're roughly like 800, 900 per year. So I'm just gonna guess between like maybe like roughly 1,000. So 6 luxury cards. Like, wait, no, we can't be paying 6,000 plus in annual fees a year, would we? Wait, am I? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna guess about. Wow, that's a lot in annual fees if that's true. Okay, all right. I'm gonna guess 5,000. That seems low though.
Really?
Yeah, it's high. It's a large number, but
Yeah, it's a large number.
wait, no, I don't have. Okay, you know what? No, I'm gonna 3,500.
Did you see these numbers?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm just like picking random numbers.
That's pretty close. It's $3,252 according to the Empower app.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then, so that's annual fees of Amex. It's mainly Amex, really. Chase and other. Let me see if I have a breakdown. Amex is 2,773, and then Chase is 384, and then another card that was 95. So whenever we talk about annual fees, I think we also have to consider like how much value we're getting out of the annual fees and the credits that those cards usually give. So what do you think we got back in terms of credits?
I think it'd be. I think we try to break even on most of them, right? So I'm just gonna guess 3K.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
Lock it in.
Okay. $5,144.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we definitely always come out on top.
We broke even and earned more back on our fees.
$1,892 that we actually earned on top of breaking even.
Can I ask a question here? Were they all stuff that we would generally buy or random stuff? So I'm just thinking, like, for someone listening, they would think like, okay, cool, you use $5,000 worth of credits, but a lot of the times the credits on those cards are kind of superfluous. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think we've spent anything random, and most of it we spent on stuff that we were already going to buy or use.
We earned $4,474 in Amex credits. That was definitely, the highest. As you can imagine, there's a lot of credits to use. There's one that's listed at the top just called American Express, and I think those were actually the meal kit credits. And then Hilton credits, $650 of Hilton credits. Amex FHR credits, $300. It probably should be more. Flexible business credits from the Amex Biz Gold that we used to buy Staples gift cards. Lowe's, when we went to, buy the gift cards at Lowe's to load onto like Amazon and Southwest and all of that. And then the Hyatt credits, when we use the Card Pointers app that allow us to add multiple offers onto all of our cards. And so we were able to get more cash back that way. So when we stayed at the Grand Hyatt Taipei, we were able to have that on 4 cards, and so we got, like, $200 back on our stay. So, yeah, it wasn't anything random, it was all stuff that we would have used, and we were just able to kind of strategically maximize the offers that were available. And then for Chase, it was $670 versus the annual fees we pay were like 380 something, and the majority of that, $425 of that was AT&T, and really just free money. There's this AT&T wireless offer that comes up every once in a while on multiple cards, and literally if you pay your telephone bill with it, basically if you pay like $100, you'll get $75 back, and it's just free money. And so, yeah, I guess I've gotten $425 worth of free money from Chase that way. Aside from that, it's been Blue Apron, HelloFresh, Cookie Unity, Home Chef, Green Chef, the usual culprits. Are you finding this information enlightening?
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
thanks for putting it together. It's
You're
pretty
welcome.
interesting.
Yeah. And so before we close out this section, I just wanted to talk about what tools I use because, we're going to put all this stuff on the screen. So you guys are going to see a lot of graphs and information. Some of the stuff, a lot of the point stuff, I actually just use spreadsheets. But for personal finance, I actually use this website slash app called Empower Personal Dashboard. And you can connect all of your bank accounts and credit cards, investment accounts to it. And as long as you are diligent about categorizing your transactions, it's able to actually show you all of these graphs. And you can look at per month, per year, by, a random customized duration. And you can also make your own categories like I did for Amex credits, for credit card annual fees and things like that. I love this program. It's also free, and this is not sponsored or anything. I have no affiliation with them. This is a purely personal recommendation. I use it. It can be a little bit glitchy sometimes, but hey, it's a free app. I know a lot of people love other apps such as Monarch Money, I think, and there might be something else like YNAB for budgeting, but this is the one I use. It's totally free and I really enjoy it and it has a lot of good capabilities. The other thing I just wanted to make a plug for is that we've been loving the Microsoft To Do app and website, and I've actually started putting a lot of my credit card monthly and biannual and quarterly and travel credits on there as lists. And the great thing about this is you can put due dates and you can make these due dates recurring. So it's really great. I love it. We use it for so many things in our life. We'll probably talk about it a little bit more in the life update section, but I also use it for points and it's really amazing.
One alternative is if you don't want to use all the tracking things.
Get a wipe.
No, no, no. I mean, I was just gonna say you could find a pretty competent P2 and they can just remember it.
Do you remember it?
Yeah. I mean, based on the quiz we did, I got most of them pretty close.
Wait,
So
but you remember when all the credits are and
no, I'm just saying like total number of points, redemption, all of that stuff. Yep, next topic. Let's go.
Okay, so on to the travel section of this video. So can you guess the total number of trips we took this year?
We took, I'm gonna guess 6 trips this year.
Close. 7. Can you list them?
Actually, in preparation, I actually wrote some of them down. Japan, Taiwan. Did we go to Singapore this year?
No. I'm so confused.
Oh, okay. Why I wrote down Singapore? Korea, Hawaii. Does that count? China.
Yeah.
So that's 5. Do you count Hong Kong as one? No.
No,
Or Hong Kong and China together? Vegas. Are you counting Vegas?
I'm counting Vegas, yeah.
Okay, Vegas is 6. Oh, and then one more.
I won't belabor this. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, where?
We went to Vegas twice. So I counted those as separate trips. We went in June and we went in October. Yeah, and I went to count it separately because we stayed at different places. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah, so that's the 7. And then I guess back to points questions. Can you guess how many points we used for these trips and how much cash we paid also?
Oh, my brain's
Yeah,
tired.
no need to do more math, just guess. Like,
One we use 1 million points, and we no, I'm gonna guess we use 1.5 million points, and annual fee. No, not annual fee, and the fees we paid roughly about 1,000.
oh, really? Um, so we actually spent 1.93 million points and $6,875 in cash. Still not bad for a
Wait,
whole
what did
year.
I say? I said 1,000.
Yeah, you said 1,000. Yeah. So the highest points were spent on, not surprisingly, the China Hong Kong trip, where we spent 500,000 points. The real value is actually higher because I'm not including my parents' flights or our relatives' hotels. But we also did spend quite a bit of cash there as well, just because of how affordable hotels are in China. The other big redemption was the Japan trip, and we spent quite a bit of cash there as well because we booked the Sapporo Hotel on Amex Travel. Speaking of cash, we also pay for the Grand Hyatt Taipei on cash, as well as some of the hotels in Korea. The fees for Korea were also especially high because I made a lot of flight changes, which of course also cost money. So I posted these tables on Instagram, and I actually got a DM from a follower that said, do you sometimes feel it's not worth calculating every single thing? Like, if you're playing at a high level and know what you're doing, it's sometimes enough to know that you're getting a good enough redemption, especially if you can generate a lot of miles. Maybe it's okay to get less than perfect redemptions. And I totally agree with him. That's partly why I haven't touched this spreadsheet all year until we decided to make this video. And my hope was to show you guys that our redemptions are far from perfect. There are definitely redemptions that were not as optimized as they could have been, and we used plenty of cash for hotels. Yeah, we just wanted to convey to the audience that you definitely don't need the perfect redemption. That's definitely something I've learned over 3 years of travel hacking, is that it's okay as long as it's good enough. Totally agree with the follower who DM'd me on that sentiment. So with that, before we move on to the specific, flights and hotels, what were our favorite as well as most disappointing trips? You can go first, actually.
My favorite trip. So my memory only goes back so far. And so the most recent trip was to Hong Kong and China. And we went to Shanghai, Suzhou, Hangzhou, and Huzhou, and Langxi, all the zhous. And I really enjoyed that trip. I enjoyed meeting your extended family in China. And then I bought a whole bunch of stuff from Taobao. So that was my highlight. Your favorite?
My favorite was actually Korea. I mean, not surprisingly, probably. I love skincare, beauty, photo shoots, good food, and exploration. And that was a lot of what that trip was. I feel like it was actually more fun than our usual trips because usually we don't have a plan and we kind of just like explore and eat food, explore some more, sleep. But this one, I feel like we actually had the most plans and bookings, I guess, for activities. Oh yeah, and the color analysis. So I feel like I was actually a little bit stressed out about that because I'm not used to booking so many activities and having to adhere to a schedule, but it actually turned out to be really fun. I think like our photographer was really funny, really fun. It turned out really well. The color analysis was overwhelming, but surprisingly um so helpful and informational. As someone who doesn't really know much about makeup and hair and things like that, I think it was really helpful for them to guide me on, what makeup I should get, what kind of style like would be better for me, what colors are better for me, things like that. And then of course, like the plastic surgery console was really interesting. If you haven't watched that, we'll link the video here. And then the skincare clinic was very interesting. We'll link that video here as well. And so yeah, for me, that was the most well-rounded, fun trip.
Yeah, Korea was fun. I think so too. What about your least favorite trip?
Yeah, so I have some different categories, I guess, for different reasons. So I don't want anyone to be, up in arms or come at me for this. And I think I just want to say overall, like our trips were all really great this year that it was hard to find a disappointing one. So even the disappointing ones were still really good. I just had to pick some. I think it also has to do with expectations versus reality. So, like I could have said maybe Vegas was the most disappointing, objectively speaking, but I think I had low expectations to begin with, so then it didn't feel as disappointing. But I think I had really high expectations for the Taiwan trip because we love Taiwan. But then I think I was disappointed by the weather. It was just like really, really hot the first day, and then like really, really rainy the rest of the time, and just really humid. And Jiufen was really touristy and overhyped. So in that sense, it just didn't live up to my expectations, even though we still love Taiwan. And then China, I think, I was really excited to be back after so many years and see family, but it was just exhausting. And there are just so many aspects of China that I also don't really enjoy that much. And some of the hotels were kind of a disappointment. So I think in that sense, that was also a little bit disappointing for me because I had such high expectations. And then also disappointing in the sense of being, like, more expensive than I remembered was Hawaii. Like, the food was so expensive, compared to, the rest of our trips to Asia. So those are kind of my disappointing ones for the year for those reasons. How about you?
Yeah, I think I'm similar thought. I think all the trips we had were good, and I find domestic travel within the US not as exciting anymore. And so, yeah, the trips to Hawaii and Vegas, Vegas was still fun because we got to see our friends. But other than that, I think that's the highlight. Like going to Vegas was really to see like friends as opposed to enjoying ourselves. We did go see a show, like that was fun. But yeah, I think the food and everything, as you were saying, is quite pricey. Inflation is high. So yeah, I am in total agreement.
All right. So moving on to flights. How many business class products do you think we flew?
We flew one, two, three, four, four.
Close. Five.
Oh, what am I missing? So there's Asiana, Starlux, EVA,
We didn't fly
Cathay.
EVA.
Didn't we fly EVA?
No.
Where? What do we fly to Taiwan?
Starlux.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You made that video. That video will link right here as well.
Okay, I give up. What were the five?
Uh, did you forget about ANA? Did you say ANA?
Oh, ANA the
Yeah,
room.
ANA. Then we flew China Airlines back. I think that's the one that like I forget sometimes too. We flew China Airlines. It seems so long ago. Starlux, Asiana, and Cathay Pacific. Those are the five. Yeah. So with that, what was your favorite?
ANA the room. Yeah, well I made the reel for it, but yeah, I think that was nice. The to memory. It was quite the decor was relatively modern and the seat was really large. You could fit two people essentially. And I think the food was good.
You
Was the
said
food
five out
good?
of seven in the
Oh, did
real.
I? Oh no, that's good. 5 out of 7 is good, isn't it?
um, I'm not sure.
Well, it's more than 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I had a hard time because I think they all have pros and cons in their own ways. But I think I just wanted to like have an unpopular opinion and say how underrated this airline is or this product is. But I think my favorite overall, the most like well balanced, actually was China Airlines. I actually really like China Airlines, even though you don't remember at all, I guess. But we flew that back from Sapporo um, to Taiwan, then back here. And I really like the decor. Like it's it's definitely more modern and cozy than EVA. It's a little bit even cozier than Starlux, I think. I mean, Starlux is newer, but China Airlines was really cozy with the vibes and the like kind of velvety like little pillow. And I really liked it. We had two flights, obviously, one from Sapporo to Taipei and then Taipei to here. The first flight was actually better and the food was really good, I remember. The second flight, food was not as memorable, but the first flight, the food was really good. I remember you had this Japanese bento style meal, and then I had this other fish meal that was pretty decent, I think. But and then, Taiwanese service is always really good. And so overall, I actually thought China Airlines was the most balanced. Um, but I have some other like superlatives, I guess. For me, the best food was actually Asiana, even though it has other cons. But I actually really, really like Korean comfort food. And I feel like they do a good job of choosing foods that are easy to like reheat and are very comforting.
Are you just talking about the Shin ramen?
No, 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 no. Like the bibimbap, the lettuce roll, the sum. It was all like really good. Even your steak was
Mm,
actually like relatively good, I remember. You don't remember.
I don't
But your
remember.
steak was pretty good, and then the ramen's always good. So, best food for me was Asiana. Best hard product and boba was Starlux for sure.
Oh
Again,
yeah.
we'll link that video up there, if you haven't seen it. And the coolest and most hyped is definitely ANA The Room. Although I think for how much hype it has, I think afterwards I was like, "Oh yeah, it's cool," but like I'm not like blown away or anything, and the food was still the food. Like ANA food can be hit or miss. Like it looks really pretty, but I feel like the actual content of the food can be kind of hit or miss. So those are my kind of best in different categories. What about your least favorite?
Least favorite was probably Cathay Pacific.
Why, I guess.
The hard product was really old. And I think we chatted about this, and it's because for these particular flights from US to China, they use the older carriers or the older airplanes or something. Is that what you said?
Yeah, like they use older planes for the long haul and newer planes for the short haul. Yeah,
Yeah.
like our flight from Hong Kong to Shanghai was newer.
Yeah. So that plane had nicer decor and everything, but this I felt like things were just older and a bit dirtier. And then actually, which flight was it that the guy spilt stuff on me?
Oh, that was a domestic flight.
Okay, but that was still Cathay, right? And then now talking about the soft product. I think the service was very Hong Kong esque. Yeah, so like do enough to do your job, but not exceed, kind of thing, maybe.
Which is why for me, like, Cathay's not even on my list of best or worst because it was just not very memorable to me. Everything was, like, very mediocre. Like, it was fine. It was like the seat is fine. I'm just happy to have, a lie flat seat. I do wanna say, as a word of advice, do not choose seats, like 20 or 21, basically like the front 2 rows of the back, the smaller cabin, because you're really close to the bathrooms, you're really close to the closets that the crew uses, and so it was really hard to sleep. Like, if I had to do over again, I would pick, like, row 15, like, right in the middle of the larger cabin, the main cabin, and you're, like, not too close to anything, the galley or the bathrooms. I think that is probably the ideal place to be for these long haul cafe configurations. But my most disappointing, um, so even though I said the best food was Asiana, I have to say the most disappointing was the Asiana Heart product. Literally, like you walk on, you feel like you're in the Twilight Zone. You feel like you're in like the 1990s or something. It's like everything's like yellow and beige, but really old, and there's not a lot of privacy. When we were sleeping, there was like a lot of blinking lights going on, or the screen would turn on. It was like really, really hard to sleep. Again, I'm always glad to have a lie flat seat, but yeah, the Asiana Heart product is not great. I would still fly them, but definitely it's really the oldest of the Heart products we have ever experienced.
I felt like Cathay was older than Asiana.
Asiana's
I felt
definitely older.
okay. I felt like Asiana was older but more well maintained, and then Cafe was like relatively newer but not as well
Oh,
maintained.
interesting. I'm surprised you have that. I actually didn't. Yeah, it
Maybe it
didn't
was just my seat. Well, which seat was it that they was telling you that if the audio doesn't
that was
work
a new flight, baby. That was the
was it?
the Hong Kong to Shanghai, yeah. So it was new actually. I feel like you're
Okay, everything is mixed in my head. I actually have no idea which flights I was on. In reality, like they were all really good.
yeah, they're all pretty good. The ASEAN Heart product is just like you really feel like you're like it's a different decade or something. All right, moving on. How many hotel stays do you think we had this year?
Does that mean just how many hotels we've been at?
Yeah, yeah, how many hotels, not nights?
I'm gonna say 18.
Close. 14. Most of them are Hyatts. Obviously we stayed at some Hiltons. We maybe did, I don't even know how many outside of those brands. Like at least one, the Sapporo one was just kind of a non-Hilton or Hyatt hotel. So, yeah, out of all of those, what was your favorite?
Oh, I have two.
Yeah.
Park Hyatt Suzhou and Alila Shanghai. Park Hyatt Suzhou I really liked because they gave us the really large suite,
Hmm.
but I actually think similar to what we talked about before is I do think I prefer the other like the normal rooms more. The suite was really nice, but it was just a bit too big. Yeah, a bit too big. But other than that, I also really liked the decor and there's a lot of different art around, art sort of display. And then there's a large koi fish pond in a couple of different koi fish pond and it's quite pretty. So I really like that. And then I think the service was really good. They reimbursed us for random things that your dad took from the minibar. Um, and yeah, they just seemed like really nice to us. And then Alila Shanghai I really liked because we got the suite upgrade, right? And the decor I thought was really nicely done. I think I'm a big fan of the Japanese kind of style, and this hotel was kind of like that. And so I really like it when furniture is kind of enclosed within the room. So, for example, if you have a door, it's a sliding door that bends, that goes into the wall as opposed to a swing open door, things like that. Really good use of space. Not that exciting for most people, but for me, I really appreciate that design. And so yeah. I think that's my favorite. What about you? What's your favorite?
Yeah, shockingly, we totally agree on this. I also put both Alila Shanghai and Park Hyatt Suzhou. I really couldn't choose. And I feel bad that like both of mine are in China and I sometimes I wonder like is it because we were just there? But I really think those two were pretty impressive. In general, I think Alila Shanghai, that suite that we got is my ideal size of a hotel room. I agree with you. Like, not only was the decor really nice, but in terms of the amount of space that we had, like the bedroom was really nice, the sitting area was really nice. Like, it didn't just look nice, but it was actually comfortable and livable. And then the luggage area was really big so that all of our luggage was, fit in there, like both of our two big suitcases. The bathroom was really nice. We had double sinks. Like the only thing, maybe my only complaint is like the shower area is very dark. But other than that, you know, it was just really like the perfect size and the decor was so nice. What I also loved about it was like I think I am starting to enjoy like boutique hotels a little bit more instead of like these kind of large hotels with large lobbies. It just feels a little bit more private and Alila Shanghai is like totally the epitome of that. Like I think when we first got there, our taxi driver was actually like, "Whoa, why is this so hidden? Why did they do this?"
It's like this little driveway that goes into this little lane almost.
Yeah, and then you get to the front and you're not even sure where the door is. It's almost like a kind of speakeasy type of vibe where it's almost kind of hidden within like the structure. And then I also really like the service as well, like in terms of I had a concierge email me ahead of time and we were able to talk via WeChat and she was really helpful even though I never met her. When I checked in online, I saw that we weren't upgraded. And so I asked her and she upgraded us to a standard suite. She helped answer some questions I had about payment. She was able to arrange free parking for my uncle when he came to pick us up, even though it was her day off. So like I just thought the service was really good. I also thought the breakfast was really good. Like, of course, you can get, cheaper food in Shanghai if you went out there, but just having that convenience and the fact that it's actually really good and representative of Shanghainese food, I thought that was really good. I thought the staff at breakfast were also really helpful, but very also informal. It wasn't too over the top. So overall, I really liked it. I wish we could have explored the area around there a little bit more, but I would definitely go back and stay there again. For Park Hyatt Suzhou, same as what you said, it's just like a really elegant hotel. I think I also like the size of Park Hyatt's where it's not too grand, like a Grand Hyatt, and just like really crowded and busy. It's larger than, a typical boutique hotel, but it still feels a little bit more intimate, it's a little bit quieter. The decor was just really beautiful. It's like an amazing mix of old and new where they have like sculptures and things like that look really old, but it's like refreshed. And then they also do this thing called the Suzhou Garden style, where they have these like rounded four-sided clover looking structure pretty much everything within the hotel, and which kind of it mimics like the garden entryways of all the like really famous gardens in Suzhou. And so it's really beautiful and the colors are really beautiful. It's kind of like a modern version of an old style. I do agree, like, I actually think I like the standard rooms better. But I did really like the balcony we had was really amazing, and I'm glad you were able to like take some good shots from there. They were so nice to us. I booked such a complicated booking because we had 3 rooms there. And so they were able to give somewhat of an upgrade to my parents, my aunt and uncle, and then they even gave us the terrace suite. And so, and like you said, they were also able to like comp some other things. And they were just really nice, and they never gave me any trouble about putting all of the reservations in my account like the other China hotels did. And so, yeah, for whatever reason, they're just extremely nice there, and I would highly recommend staying there. And Suzhou is just a beautiful city. Oh, also the food was really good, especially the a la carte menu where they had the Suzhou style noodles and the other kinds of dishes. Yeah, the breakfast was also really, really good there.
How would you rate the breakfast between Alila Shanghai and Park Hyatt Suzhou? Which one would be better?
It's really hard. Like they both did their a la carte menu really well, and the a la carte menu was different. So it's kind of hard to choose. I feel like quality wise, they're both really good. So then it just is down to kind of preference of which menu you like better. I personally like the Alila Shanghai menu better, but I think that's really a personal preference. What do you think?
I actually don't remember what I ate because,
Because you
well,
were sick.
yeah, I had a really bad stomach ache and I couldn't eat anything when we were in Park Hyatt Suzhou.
Yeah, I think
So
I think
that
that
was
really
really
dampened
sad.
our stay a little bit too. Like it would have been even better if my uncle didn't try to convince you to drink and you weren't so cavalier about drinking.
Yeah, I don't know. It's never happened to me where I get stomach pains after drinking.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm all better now. To
That was a
memory,
miserable. I feel like that was when the trip went downhill, honestly.
I think through that experience, I really mastered the art
Oh
of
God.
using squat toilets.
Okay, let's not get too
All right.
graphic here, but
What about
moving
switching
on.
topics? What about your least favorite stay?
Oh,
Least favorite hotel?
sorry. So I have to do a lot of superlatives because I feel like we stayed at so many good hotels this year that I don't want to just name two and move on to the worst because there were so many other like good ones. I would say like the ones I would keep going back to even though they weren't like my top favorite. Hyacentric Ginza. I really like Hyacentric Ginza in Tokyo. Do you? Do you remember?
Yeah, they've got like the decorations at the bottom, it's like red
Yeah, yeah,
and
and
they
it's
have a
in
little drink
Ginza. It's a
area.
really nice location. The
Yeah,
staff is really nice. Yeah.
location's really good because it's right next to the subway to memory, right?
No, it's a little bit farther from the subway, but it's
Really?
right next to all the shopping and, all the stuff that
Okay.
we like to go to. It's like a 5-minute walk to the subway. But Hyacentric Ginza, I would keep going back to, and we're actually gonna go back next month, and we're gonna have a suite. So I'm super excited. Yeah. And then On the Soul really liked. Caveat being we had a suite. So I think before Alila Shanghai, On the Soul might have been my favorite suite in terms of size and comfort, but Alila Shanghai is now my favorite. And then Crockford's Las Vegas Resorts World, I would keep going
Yeah.
back there as long as I have the Hilton credits to, pay for it. It's not cheap by any means, but that was really nice. Like it felt very luxurious, a high level of service in Las Vegas among all the chaos. In terms of the best view, I would say Park Hyatt Busan, even though it wasn't our favorite, but the view was amazing from the bedroom of, the bridge and everything. That was probably the most amazing view we had.
I would actually say the view from Park Hyatt Suzhou was better because you could see the Ferris wheel and then it lights up in the dark. I know we can put it up side by side.
Yeah, it's hard. I guess what I'm saying is like it was an amazing view from your bed. You know what I mean? I think that
That's
was really
true, yeah.
the amazing part about Park Hyatt
You wake up
Busan.
to the view.
Yeah, yeah, and then it's just like panoramic, I guess, in front of you. Versus, yeah, so the Park Hyatt Suzhou, like you have to go on the balcony and like if it's raining, then you can't see it, all that stuff. But yeah, so for me, best view was Park Hyatt Busan, even though, it wasn't like there were other things we didn't like about it. All right, what was your, oh, that's a good segue into what was your least favorite?
So I think the problem for me is if it was actually a truly least favorite, I don't remember. So I only vaguely
Oh,
remember things that I like, and then out of all of the things that I like, which one I like the least, then that becomes my
really?
least.
Because I would think you don't remember because they were mediocre and not memorable one way or the other. But,
I think my brain just sort of blocks it out. If it has a bad memory, then I
oh,
just. So I liked the view in Busan,
hmm,
but I actually don't think that was probably my least favorite hotel.
why?
To memory, it was quite old, and the layout. So the layout was a bit odd. You go in, and then there's sort of this main seating area. Then you follow a little corridor, and then it opens up into the panoramic view where your bedroom is. So I think that bedroom view with a panoramic set window is awesome. But then the layout was just weird, and then everything was just a little bit old, I felt. For those reasons, Park Hyatt Busan was my least favorite
Out of the ones that you can
out
remember.
of the ones that I can remember. But it's
Yeah.
still a really good hotel.
Yeah, I agree. I have to say the other thing that was is probably not ideal about it that might be helpful to people who are thinking of booking is that where it's located is really out of the way of the main areas that you want to go to in Busan. So it wasn't really walkable. So we had to really like catch a cab to most places. And it was kind of far from the places that we wanted to eat or where the, kind of hustle and bustle was. So that's something else to consider. But otherwise, the rate is really good. Like I think we booked our room for less than $200, like 180 or $190, and added a suite upgrade award to secure a suite. So that was really nice. All right, so my most disappointing or least favorite, I don't know about least favorite. Yeah, I mean, probably least favorite and most disappointing based on expectations was Conrad Las Vegas Resorts World. Oh my God. I guess it's when you're used to the level of service at international Conrads, like Conrad Osaka was so nice, Conrad Hong Kong was pretty nice, old but still pretty nice and feels luxurious. Conrad Tokyo is very nice. When you're used to that kind of service, like Conrad Las Vegas is like a I don't know.
It was like a zoo.
Yeah, like it looks glitzy, like the decor is nice, but it was very crowded, very chaotic at check-in. The staff at the front desk seemed really unhappy. And then when you go in the room, it just smells like cleaning fluid and the sheets and the bedding and the pillows are like super thin and cheap and the curtains are like manual curtains, not to be like, super picky, but like it just didn't fit the brand. And they also didn't come clean our room. the second day. And it's not cheap. I think that's why it's disappointing because for the price that we paid for it, it just really didn't match up. So, yeah, Conrad, I would not go back. I would not recommend, especially at that price. Like the value just isn't there. Um,
Question:
yeah.
how much more expensive is Crockford over
Oof. I have to
Conrad?
look that up, but I think from memory, like
It's a
it's
hundred
not
bucks or
that
something,
much, maybe
right?
like 100 or something, a night, maybe even less, I want to say. I'll put it up once I find it. But yeah, so I think like given the small price difference and versus the huge difference in like the level of service and the quality of the rooms. It was like two different worlds. The Crockford's areas are private. Only people who are staying at Crockford's can go to the Crockford's areas, whereas like the Hilton and the Conrad are just like totally public and anyone can go, in between. And then the minute you like leave the common area to the Crockford's area, it's just like peace and quiet and space.
Okay, I
Okay.
think we all get it. We should never ever stay at Conrad, Las Vegas. What
Yeah,
else?
choose Crockford's. Oh
Any?
yeah, and then I also have a few others that not because we hate it, but it just I think we're getting tired of them or they just weren't impressive enough for us to go back to. So unfortunately, after two, very nice days at Grand Hyatt Taipei, I think we're ready to move on. I don't know how you feel, but I'm ready to move on. I think the service was really nice. It was a really great starter kind of points hotel for Taipei. But this last day we had, like, the room was just so damp and musty, even though the size was okay, but it's just getting old, I think, and it's just not I think, yeah, I think I'm just ready to, like, try something different and more impressive in Taipei. What do you think?
Yeah, it was. It's nice, but yeah, very musky. Maybe I don't know if that's
Yeah.
the right word. Maybe because it's haunted. This is the one that's haunted. I actually had no idea
Supposedly,
until
yeah.
someone told me that it was like
Yeah.
apparently haunted. But we didn't have any
No, no issues.
issues.
Yeah.
No issues for us. Yeah.
So yeah, Grand Hyatt Taipei, I think we're ready to move on, even though it's been nice. I saw a creator post about the Capella Taipei, I believe, and that looked really nice and new. Hyatt Centric Waikiki, it was a good stay, but it also felt a little bit old and really just wasn't that impressive. I think I definitely want to try maybe like a boutique hotel next time if we go back to Waikiki. I think there's one called the Wayfarer, I want to say, that people have recommended. But I think none of the Hyatts on Waikiki are that great. Like, if you want to stay at a Hyatt, Hyatt Centric might be the best because I hear even worse things about Hyatt Regency. But I think we're also open to trying something different with all these, other credits that we have now. Grand Hyatt Hangzhou, really disappointing. Again, old and also really damp and musty. And like my parents had to switch rooms because their room was even worse. I'm not sure what's going on. I really think it's really these older hotels that maybe just like don't handle that well. And the food was also really disappointing in the lounge. I was just tired at that point of the trip. I was like, I don't have the energy to venture out, but I got so sick of the food in that lounge. And then I have to say, Grand Hyatt Hong Kong was sadly kind of disappointing. I think that one is because there was so much hype around it that I really expected a lot. And I have to say, the view is really nice. But other than that, like the lobby's super crowded, very chaotic. There was a floor that my parents were on that smelled a lot like smoke that they actually asked to move. And the lounge, while it's really pretty, I would say the food quality is just okay. Like it was not that memorable to me, to be honest. Um, so I would not go back to Grand Hyatt Hong Kong the next time we go to Hong Kong. Also, I would not go back to Grand Hyatt Hangzhou. I think if we do go back to Hangzhou, I want to try the Park Hyatt, which has really good reviews.
Yeah, a lot of the China hotels, I guess, because it's fine to smoke indoors. So a lot of the corridors had air purifiers lined up almost every 2 meters. I think just to pull some of the
Yeah.
cigarette smoke.
Wait, so do you think it was okay to smoke in the Grand Hyatt?
I don't know. I on maybe not in Hong Kong, but in China, Maybe in Hangzhou, maybe? I don't know. I just feel like everyone was smoking everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely one thing that we couldn't get used to and that I don't like about going back to China. But anyway, so yeah, so those are hotels I would not go back to. Moving on to social media and content creation recap of the year. I guess this is not a quiz because we both know like how many YouTube videos we posted this year.
I think we have 6 videos now, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
hopefully it'll be seven once this is posted, but as of right now of this recording, it's six. Should we celebrate?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Woo!
This is a shout out to Sharon Chang. My coach taught me this celebration technique. So yeah, I mean, this is totally new for us, right? Like we published the first video in
3 months ago, I think, right?
like
Is it?
September. I think it was September. Yeah, so
Yeah.
3 months ago.
Yeah, roughly 3 months ago.
Yeah, and now we have six videos and 136 followers. So slowly inching our way to, being YouTube partners. But do you want to talk about, what the thought process was for trying to start a YouTube channel, what the transition was like from Instagram to YouTube?
Yeah, I think with a lot of the reels before, predominantly, I think you were creating them actually. I think you would create 10 and I would maybe make one. And I think for both of us, we felt that, well, particularly you, it was just a lot of churning short form content again and again and again. And I think for me, I myself in particular, I don't really enjoy having to condense a lot of stuff in a very short and succinct way that grabs your attention, make sure it hits the dopamine, has a really strong hook and really strong visual elements to do that as well. So I don't like it as much. And so I think when we started talking more about this and we wanted to share, YouTube seems like a better platform for that reason because we can do long form content and we can be a little bit more thoughtful in the video that we put out or the content we put out. And then at the same time, I feel monetization is slightly easier on YouTube than on Instagram, where YouTube you have a goal, like you reach 1,000 subscribers and X amount of watch time, and you can start getting ads. Instagram, it's a little bit more, you have to go get like sponsorship or brand deals and whatnot. And so, a combination of those two, I feel that YouTube was a more comfortable choice or easier choice for us. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that those were my thoughts exactly. So I don't really have too much to add in terms of that. I just think I wanted to choose an avenue where I felt like suited us in terms of our strengths. But it's been a fun experience so far. And I think our experience on Instagram, has colored how we're going about this. And I'm actually really grateful for that. I think we kind of stumbled upon virality so unexpectedly on Instagram that it was kind of overwhelming. I know it was for me. And I had to grapple with a lot of insecurities of suddenly like having a lot of comments, many of them being negative, and just like a lot of people just having opinions about your content and figuring out whose opinions to value and whose opinions to kind of disregard. And also working on my own people pleasing tendencies of not creating content only when I don't think there will be criticism and not caring too much about, I mean, of course, we all care about engagement and wanting to grow and things like that, but kind of just like, I think it really forced me to think a little bit more about how to balance growth with just enjoyment, I guess, and not putting too much pressure on yourself. And I feel like we're going into this YouTube channel with a much better mindset. And I feel very like affirmed and validated when I see some of the contents from other creators talking about getting burnout from YouTube and just chasing the wrong things. And so and like that took them so long to realize after, creating so many videos and going through a lot of trials and tribulations. And I'm glad that like we're going into this fresh with a really healthy mindset, I feel.
Yeah, and on that note, I think we've put together a pretty good production process. Right now, we're aiming to do one video every 2 weeks, and we have a structure and steps where we co assign each other different tasks that we need to do so it doesn't feel too overwhelming. And at the same time, we can keep progressing. So, yeah, I think we're still in the early days of trying all of this out. So, we'll probably continue to iterate on the process and whatnot. But yeah, I'm actually having a lot of fun making these videos. It's a good creative outlet for me.
Yeah, and it's good to focus on just like the accomplishment of creating something rather than, how much external validation you're getting from it. I was gonna say, I do think not feeling pressured comes from a certain privilege of not relying on social media for income, right?
Yeah.
Because I do get the hustle of young people who maybe have, a job that they don't really like, a lower paying job, and they're really trying to make it in social media so that it could replace their main income. Whereas I think we're in a different situation where we're in kind of our mid to late 30s and our careers are going decently well, our personal finances are really stable, and so we have the luxury to kind of just have fun with social media as kind of a fun side project without relying on the income. And so I do feel grateful for that.
Maybe continuing on the personal finance note, what have been some 2025 highlights for you?
Oh my gosh, 2025 has been a really interesting year. So maybe talking about career first. I made a huge change in my career. So I work in medicine and I actually quit my 9 to 5 job. It sounds so easy to just say that, but obviously it was a months, years long process. Over the past year, I just became so unhappy in my job because of the work conditions, because of maybe unhealthy habits I needed to unlearn, and just figuring out what my values were and whether they aligned with the job that I was at. Obviously, it was a very stressful and scary process, but I feel like I actually had a lot of fun networking. Once I think I found the right support systems, in particular, my coach, Sharon Chang, just a shout out for Sharon Chang, and then my therapist, who is amazing. I think with that guidance and just kind of building a healthier mentality and healthier approach to work and interpersonal relationships, I think that really gave me the confidence to go explore new opportunities. I started networking a lot for several months and then finally found these other jobs that I think I would like better, and especially another life, I guess, of being, a contractor instead of working a full 9 to 5. And so in September, I quit my job and then started doing, consulting or contracting for these healthcare diagnostics companies. And so I'm still in the process of transitioning between my prior full-time job to two different part-time consulting jobs. And so that's been really interesting, especially because one of them is a 1099 job. And so I'm learning all about the world of, having business income, creating an EIN, creating a solo 401k, maybe opening a business checking account. I still need to, decide on that. And so it's just been a really interesting and exciting and messy and fun process all at the same time. I have to say, I'm so much happier now than I was when I was at my previous job. But, there are definitely new challenges that come with this new life, especially with the amount of flexibility. Like, you think flexibility is good, but then it can also feel really overwhelming and you can feel lost in that flexibility. So it definitely has its pros and cons. And maybe if you guys are interested, I can share more about that in future podcasts. But overall, I have to say this was a crazy year in terms of my career, but I'm so happy I made the change.
You know what's really funny? You've applied for so many business cards and now you actually have a business.
I mean, you better believe I applied for a chasing for this business. And that might be the last chasing we, get for a while. But I definitely took advantage of that. Yeah. All right. Enough about me. So, what about you? What has your 2025 looked
I
like?
think this year was overall good. I think. I think. Well, actually, it was kind of hard because at the start of the year, I got my ACL surgery, so I couldn't do a lot of physical stuff. I'm more or less or better now, so I think I'm very close to return to sport. But this is my second time tearing my ACL, and yeah, I think not only the physical surgery in itself, that's kind of um that you kind of have to get over, but I think a lot of it is also mental. Mental in the sense that for a period of time you're not really self-sufficient, and then also mentally thinking like, oh, injured myself again. And so yeah, it was kind of tough, but I am glad that I'm towards the end of it now, and hopefully I won't tear my any of my ACLs anymore. But yeah, and then so hopefully come January when we go to Japan and I'll be snowboarding, we'll do it safe and conservatively and have a lot of fun. The other thing, I think during my ACL healing, I built my own computer. So that was really fun. This was before the RAM prices, and yeah, the RAM prices have skyrocketed since. If anyone follows, it's really crazy and it looks sick. Check it out. And then I also started building Gundams. They're these little robot figurines which you clip together, sand down some plastic bits, and then you can paint them. And so that's been a really good additional creative outlet for me too. So yeah, overall 2025 has been really good and we had some really good holidays. I'm really happy for this year and I'm even more excited for next year.
All right, moving on to relationship growth. So obviously we both had a lot going on this year, and in general, I feel like the mid to late 30s are a surprisingly tumultuous period. Like you think you're just gonna, get married, buy a house, everything's gonna stay the same, you're in a long-term job. But actually life gets kind of crazy in between, and like, and you get kind of these existential, maybe like quarter to midlife crises types of things about like, do I like myself? Do I like, my partner? Like all these things, which are, I think, very common thoughts to have. And so we were both struggling with things like individually, which obviously affect the relationship. Like I have my work stress, you have your work stress, you have your, ACL stress, I have, obviously relating to work like burnout, boundaries issues to work on. And so that also impacted our relationship. And I feel like we definitely needed to or wanted to, I guess, get some guidance on that, right? Like how to make our relationship better. I think on top of that, me transitioning to these new jobs and working from home and negotiating how to work from home together, I feel like that was a source of stress too. I guess that, that's kind of one of those downsides to the new life that I was talking about, or stressors of the new life that I was talking about. And so we started seeing a couples therapist. This is probably, I think this is the second or the third couples therapist we've ever had. But I think this has been really, this time around, like it's been really productive, right? In terms of figuring out strategies, like figuring out the reason behind, like, why we were having conflicts, and then figuring out tangible strategies of how to combat those conflicts.
Yeah, I agree. I think having a third party just to coach us through our disagreements and talk through it. I think definitely for myself, falling more into the avoidant category, I don't tend to really reflect on what I'm feeling. Often at times I don't even know I'm feeling those things. And so holding that time to talk about it forces me to actually think about it. And then when I think about it, then I can communicate it better. And when I communicate it better, then we can actually work on it together. So I think that's been a positive for me.
Yeah. And I think maybe the biggest mind shift that I've had this year in terms of our relationship is that I think this is a common thing that maybe people can relate to is that oftentimes when you fight with your or you have a difference with your partner, your immediate thought is like, what's wrong with them, right? Like, why do they do this? Like, why are they weird? Like, I'm the normal one and they are the ones doing something wrong. And then, like, sometimes maybe you'll ask your friends, like, isn't this weird? Or like, aren't I in the right or whatever? And like, even though it's so normal, I guess, and such a human thing to do and so relatable, it's not very helpful to, you know, resolving issues. And so I think the biggest kind of positive mindset I've had this year is like recognizing that the differences are not like not seeing the differences as right or wrong, but rather like we're just really different and there's no right or wrong. We just do things differently. And really the solution, it's like us against the problem. And the solution is really to see like no one's in the wrong, but how can we manage these differences and compromise so that we can both win and be happy, you know? And I think that's what we've been trying to do. Do you want to talk about like what we've been doing in terms of like routines and things like that?
Not really.
Okay, I can start. Why don't you?
I'm shy. That's why. No,
Oh.
I'll talk about it. So we started having a weekly alignment meeting. And every Saturday morning, we set aside some time just to talk about what we're grateful for during the week and alongside with how we think we're tracking in our relationship and what are the things that we can work on as well. And so I think that's been really useful just to have that regular time to talk about it and give each other feedback because day to day things might just be swept under the rug or you're too busy on other things, you're focusing on work, then you have to cook dinner, then you got to do something else. And then you don't have time to talk about it. So it ends up building as resentment or you end up harboring this resentment or like frustration or anger and then it blows out in other ways. So having that weekly time to at least talk about it I think has been very useful, um, both for Angel and I.
Yeah, I think, yeah, so I think Jason talked about the weekly kind of alignment meeting. The other thing that we've incorporated is also daily walks, like digestion walks after dinner, where we digest, but then we also ask each other if there's anything on our minds or talk about our day. I feel like sometimes things will just fester without you even knowing it, and then it will become, a fight.
Yeah, I think it's helped us argue better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we still fight, we still argue, but then we are we have more opportunities and understanding to talk about it.
Finally, the home stretch. What are we looking forward to in 2026?
2026, I am looking forward to first snowboarding in some sweet, sweet pow in Japan,
Mhm.
and then getting some Gundams in Japan,
Yeah.
and then getting my green card. So won't be
Oh,
traveling that much. So
yeah.
I think those
Yeah.
are the main three things.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, those are really good. So I think I have a list of travel things I'm looking forward to, and then life things, I guess I'll say after. So, travel things very specifically, I'm looking forward to trying JAL. We're going to fly that to and from Japan. So, we haven't tried, their business class product yet. So, I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited about Hyatt Centric Ginza Suite. Because, like we love the hotel already. I think this would just be the cherry on top to have more space. Park Hyatt Niseko, I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I read some mixed reviews, so I'm also very curious to see like what we think about it. Of course, the snowboarding is gonna be awesome, I'm sure. And to like snowboard while eating good food is like just the dream. Like in the States, I feel like you get to snowboard, but you have to eat shitty food. So this is just going to be so much better. And then I'm looking forward to some interesting, different Hyatt experiences like Miraval Austin. We're going to Miraval Austin for your birthday. And so I'm really looking forward to that kind of all inclusive wellness type of resort and to seeing, my friends. And then hopefully if all goes well with your green card, I don't have to cancel the Singapore first class suites that I rebooked. I had to cancel the first time, and so hopefully I don't have to cancel this again. I'm really, really looking forward to that now. So those are the travel things I'm looking forward to. To be honest, I'm also really looking forward to taking a break from credit card points. It's been kind of tiring. Maybe it was my own doing to go so hard the first couple of years. And so I feel like I'm really looking forward to ramping down, canceling more cards, taking a break since our points are fine. And then also taking a break from traveling, actually, from all the international travels while you get your green card. I think it'll be a nice break to stay in the country, see some friends while we travel domestically. That would be really good. I'm looking forward to starting my second consulting job in January. Like, it hasn't officially started. I've been doing some training, but I'm going to officially start in January. I'm excited to see what that's like. And I'm just excited to grow our YouTube channel and, maybe make more podcasts, just definitely make more videos, and just, experiment with this new life.
Wow. Yeah, you have a lot of things to be excited about.
Yeah, I'm very
My
excited.
list was pretty short, I feel now, in comparison.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a good year, I think. I have a good feeling. Thank you guys for watching our first ever YouTube podcast episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe.
If there are things that you found interesting, let us know. We could make additional videos on it. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.